Hey everybody, this is One of Wisdom. We are back for Training Plus on our Wii Fit Plus playthrough. This will actually be part 15-3, which is, believe it or not, going to be the final installment. After this, we will be completely done. It's now Thursday, August 25th. I planned to do this last night. Had to cut the grass. Really bad lightning came. Needless to say, over the course of the next hour and a half, the rains came, the power went out for about 3 hours. Came back on after 1 a.m. Had to wait the lightning out, finally got to shower, and quite frankly didn't feel like doing this at, 2 in the morning, something like that. So, needless to say, I did have to put it off, but if you remember last time we wrapped up part 15-2 on the long routes, and now we're going to do the island lap. This burns 4 METs. All you need is a Wii remote. Have 4 started. We should be able to do that this time. No problem, just because it's a longer route, so when we do have to slow down, we can compensate for it. Remember what you see along the way. Stay focused while you burn calories. This will be just like the short and long routes. It's just this one's going to be longer. It's actually, as you can see, the end of Basic Run Plus. There's nothing, no longer routes than this, so we'll go ahead and get started. And there's been fewer routes on Training Plus than there were on Basic Run, and of course you don't start with a me, you start with a cat, but we'll kind of see if that carries over here. I do play it a lot, I just not as much as Basic Run, so I don't remember the routes. I kind of relearn it as I go. I want to say if you stay behind this first cat, which we'll do, I think it's just a standard old island lap, which you see in free run and basic run. But looks like we're starting out behind a black cat with a green collar. It's got a white face. Again, that is important to denote that. Sometimes that'll be what they answer, and if you don't pay attention, you miss it. So I always like to see it here because that's really the only time the cat looks at you. There are some that are similar in color, so it can cause problems. Alright, so it had an old lady in green. Usually when you see 2 or 3 me's run by you this early on, that's not going to be a question. When you have which me ran past you, like I said, everything is desolate, and that is not the case so far. I'm kind of going slow just because I don't know. I want to say one comes either at the pinnacle of the bridge or as we come down. There's our first flag we just passed. So I'm not trying to set the world on fire, I just don't want to screw up this route. Sounds like somebody fell behind us, which is a shame because we didn't get to see it. But there's a 8-bit Mario on the bridge. Okay, if one comes here, it should be right by this path. It may not. It's been a while since I've played. There's second flag, third flag, fourth flag. When possible, it's usually best to count them as you pass them. That's our 5th one. If you start going off ahead of yourself, it's easier to forget, or overcompensate. If you count ahead of time, then you'll pass one and you'll think, wait, did I count that one 3 back, or do I need to add it? So, okay, here's our first cat, and I'm having to go really slow now. But again, that's 7 flags. Alright. Well, jeez. I think you lose points if you pass the guide, and so I'm trying not to. Alright. I know there's got to be more than just one alternative route, so they must come somewhere. Maybe that cat has them, I really don't know. do like, you know, the basic run plus. It's just, you know, if you're trying to do a set routine, I usually prefer the basic run. That's why I know the routes better, and that's why I'm still kind of going slow. I mean, as soon as I take off, you know, and kind of start running again, I'm sure one would come. Looks like the dogs. Yeah, here they come. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so I got 7 flags and 5 dogs. I'll feel really stupid if, you know, that one is the only cat, but I honestly can't imagine that being the case. I mean, it very well could be. They could just have more past it, but I felt like, you know, there'd at least be 3 or 4, you know, alternative routes, but we'll find out. We're almost at the halfway point. I will tell you on this one, when you do the full island routes, I've mentioned this in previous recordings, but when you get right down towards the city, as you come in on this hill, which is still a good ways off, but that is where you usually see the bird suit in this one. You definitely want to remember that. And I'm having a lot of trouble breathing. Like I said, I cut the grass last night, and generally you do that and you shower. I did not get to. I you know, wound up staying with that smell for like 6 hours. You know, if I get it right off, it's not too bad. Otherwise, have a pretty rough morning. You can't breathe, and then for whatever reason, you know, it kind of clears up in the day, and then at night starts back up. And of course, once you lay down, it's pretty well over. And by that I mean it gets really bad. So that's kind of why I'm short of breath, going very slow. I am very surprised that there hasn't been another cat. And we did pass I saw the Koopa down there when we took that little cutaway by the cove, and then right at the entry point of the tunnel, we had the 8-bit Mario again. I'm trying to keep my nose from running at this point in time, which is not easy to do while you know, jog in place, but you know what? I am going to go out on a limb and say that we're not going to get past. I guess that Calico one probably has a couple more that'll pass it, which is kind of nice, really, because, you know, what is that, like between 1/8 and 1/4 of the way through? So we can run to there, and once we do that, you know, we just know that that's Route 2 through the end. It's right in this area, when you get down a little closer to the curve, that they'll usually put a person in the bird suit. And of course, since I said that, Doesn't look like there's going to be someone. But just be forewarned, when you do run this island lap, that's usually what they do. So this is actually a fairly boring one. You know, they do change it up sometimes, so keep that in mind. Don't just write it off. Okay. Yeah. I reference this at the start. Always pay attention to their face. You know, there are a couple that are this light tan color. Of course, like I said, black cat, green collar, white on the face. There you go. Okay, we ran by this one twice on the Koopa. Koopa's not a choice, so it's Mario. I believe there were 7 flags and 5 dogs. So there you go. So got our 30 burn it, 30 bonus points, and we'll see what that does. As you can see, getting to actually run with not stopping all the time, even though we went slow because we didn't know what to expect. That alone would have been good for 4 stars. The 30 points just sweetens it. So again, nowhere near. You note on this one I have a lot higher scores. Again, for the same reason, personal best is a 263. And again, you get that just by going quicker and maintaining the pace. 8 minutes, 40 calories. So as you can see, it is a very good workout. It's even more difficult if you can't breathe well. But anyway, I think we'll keep in mind that was 8 minutes. These other 8 were from yoga I did before running. But we should, in theory, I've always thought that the alternative routes are a little quicker than the full lap, so we'll go ahead and test that out. I'll come back and retry. Gonna get some water. Notice the same cat. And you know, like I said, if I were to run the island lap right now, you know, I mean, the 8-bit Mario is going to be the same place on the bridge and at the cliff, you know, but you know, there's not many people. You know, last time at this point, I think 4 Miis had passed us. There's not anybody even on the road coming our direction. Generally, when you see that this early on in the run, that means that they're going to ask who ran past you, or, you know, say that I made the full lap this time. 10 to 1, there would be someone in the bird suit down there by the bowling alley where I referenced. But there's not. We're not going that way. So, you know, I'd love to show you, but just take my word for it and be aware that could happen. There was Mario. Again, those are going to be staples, you know. So if you ever do the island lap and they've got the Koopa shell, the Goomba, and the mushroom, and you did the complete island, you'll know that it would be the Koopa. So there's our first flag. The second flag. I think they put the cat this far back just so you always have the flags to contend with, you know. There's number 4. There's 5. And here's number 6. Again, you can count in advance. There's just sometimes, like say dogs run by and then you see another flag. You'll wonder if you've already counted it or not. Now we are going to follow the calico one with the blue color. I'm assuming it gets past. I can't imagine this just having 2 routes. In fact, I know it doesn't, but I just don't know where it gets past. So you know, I think it may get past on the other side of the bridge, now that I think about it. Doesn't make sense to happen here. You know, there's nowhere to go unless you turn around, which they don't do. But I think one may pass. It'll cut through those rocks you can see over there, and there are several, should be the star and several moles, and then I think it'll run back to the ruins. But you know, regardless of who passes us, I'm gonna do my best to stay behind this one because it is Route 2. So I should get quicker as this goes on, just because once I know the pass points, you know, I'll know where I can run. Okay, pay attention to this guy. White shirt, kind of a funky beard, looks like an old colonial dude. Since we haven't seen anyone at all, that's really weird. When I first did this, I was thinking, man, that's really strange, and you know, then they pop you with that question. Good news is you usually remember it. So, oh well, we're not getting past, but we are going that way. So here's the star I mentioned, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 6. You know, they change it up pretty good. Well, surely this one gets passed at some point. Pay attention to her too, just because, you know, like there's been no one waving at us. There's kind of a neat element mixed with an element of creepiness when you're like the only person on the island. You know, you're just so used to having all these people, you know, that pass you or standing around waving and stuff. When you're solo, it's kind of changes that. Not a bad thing, it's just, it's out of place, you know. Well, we have 6 flags. Right? I think that's right. And I really can't remember if I said 4 or 5 moles. I think it was 4. And then the 8-bit Mario and the star. So I can't believe we haven't been passed yet. I don't know. Maybe this is the only one? There's just 2 of them? That's kind of hard to believe. I think when you get up here, which I'm pretty sure this one takes us to the ruins, I feel like when you do this one, all the cats come. If you remember in the basic run, when you wind up kind of in that sand pit, you know, in the mountain, there's like 6 or 7 dogs that run along with you, and then at the end, you know, the victory scene, they're all kind of yelping. The cats, I'm pretty sure it's this run, kind of circle up. It's kind of interesting. Speaking of dogs, there's one. They do sometimes separate them, but never this much. You know, it'd be like there's a group of 3, and then there's a group of 2, and it's just bang bang in succession. At this point in time, we're not going to get past, so I will start moving a little quicker. There's a few people. Well, there we go. We'll take our quiz now. Ta-ta. Just cat finished with you. Okay, it was a calico one. Started with black and green. Well, black with white. Had the green collar, and then this one with the blue collar passed him. Aha, here you go. I talked about this forever. Finally it happens. You notice it the whole way through, which what really sucks is if you notice it towards the end, you know, on one of your early playthroughs, because they don't do it every time, obviously. You likely will have not paid attention. I've been talking and talking and talking about it. It finally happened to us on, I guess, what is our very last run. So at least, you know, I didn't make it up. But, you know, we passed him right around the bridge area. He was wearing white. I said he looked like a colonial dude with a beard. So there he is. Like I said, I can't remember if I said 4 or 5, but I feel like it was 4. Which, you got it right. So again, 1, 2, 3, that'll be 30 bonus points. And like I said, the cats do circle you here. It's like every cat in the entire game. I guess it's kind of like the grand finale. There's a total of 8 of them. But we got a 155 and the 30-point bonus made it a 185. Again, I didn't run fast because I really thought we'd get past. I guess there's only 2 routes on training run or basic run plus, or whatever they call it, whatever we're doing. There's the first cat that takes you around the island. He got past one time, and it was by this cat, and as you saw, we never got past here, so there you have it. There's 2 routes. I didn't really plan on that, but oh well. Again, that doesn't rank. Same scores apply. Personal best is 263. Okay, well, my theory was kind of blown that time, but it might be because I ran slow as well, thinking surely we'd get past. But, you know, it was 8 minutes, 37 calories. I think last time it was 8 minutes, 40 calories, so we probably did go a little bit quicker, you know, but not quite 60 seconds worth. So there you go. That actually, believe it or not, our Basic Run Plus Island Lap, Route 1 and 2, that wraps up our Wii Fit Plus Training Plus playthrough, which also just happens to wrap up yoga, strength training, aerobics, and balance games. I actually went through them in this order. Training Plus technically comes first, but I felt like it was the coolest. I wanted to save it for last. It's really the only difference between Wii Fit and Wii Fit Plus is the fact these are here, and then you've got the locker room and some other stuff and pets. But, you know, as far as activity-wise, this is the heart and the real reason people bought Wii Fit Plus, hence why I saved it for last. But, yeah, the playthrough now, I will go in and I'll go ahead and do like a demo on all the body tests and everything like that. Maybe go into the locker room, show you some of that stuff. But yeah, hard to believe. Didn't seem like I'd ever get it done. I've done 2 other playthroughs, you know, waiting on this one to get wrapped up. Did a little bit every night. We finally made it. So I hope you enjoyed it. You know, it's a Wii Fit Plus. It's a great game. Totally unique to the Wii. There's a lot of imitations now, but you know, nothing quite like the original. And there's just so much content on this one. It's definitely worth your time. But again, 15-3 was the Basic Run Plus Island Laps. Turns out there's only 2 routes. I honestly thought there were more than that, but you know, it is what it is. And you know, I had a lot of fun recording this for everybody. Hopefully, you know, people enjoy it, or you know, go out and are inspired to get the game, or you know, maybe play some of the ones they've skimmed over, or compete, or whatever. You know, I mean, my records, some of them are really good. Some of them, you know, 100% on certain things. The best you can do, you can see if you can match it. You know, again, there's some people with a lot better scores than me, but you know, a good starting point is work your way up to a 4-star on some of these, and then you can see if you can beat me, and then go from there. You know, look up the overall world record and start shooting for that. Just, you know, it's a good way to stay active, particularly in the winter or in inclement weather when you don't have the power out, which is what happened last night. But Like I say, it's complete, kind of hard to believe it. But if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask here on YouTube or the blog, oneofwisdom.blogspot.com. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook if you're so inclined. And thank you for watching, and I will catch you back next time.